So without further ado, put your snacks down and give Elizabeth a round of an applause.
Ooh, I get a microphone. This is fun. All right, well, thank you all for being here today. I am super excited to share with you the things that I talk with people all the time, but I've never actually got in front of a room of people and talked to them about. So, as you see, our subject is the power of how we show up in photos. We're talking today about capturing authenticity, right? So first of all, I just want to start with, what is authenticity? What is it to be authentic? Well, we think genuine, but also being authentic is actually, it's that feeling you get when you say something and you believe what you just said, okay? So people are throwing around the word a lot these days, and it's just a buzzword. They don't really sit with it and understand this very important fact that if you are not able to get in front of people and stand in your power and know that what you're saying is true, you are not being authentic. That is how you can tell if someone is if you are being in your power or not. Okay? All right. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. I have gone through a lot of iterations of style, life experiences, but it all starts with me growing up as the oldest of 7 kids, okay? And my parents were always trying to start a church. We had some very specific ways of dressing. By the time I was 13, I was wearing skirts down to my ankles. And modesty culture was a very big part of my life. Constant criticism, constant judgment, especially in regards to women and how we present ourselves, because, we don't want to make anybody sin. That would be the worst thing you could possibly do, aside from get a divorce, which I did later. So as my journey progressed to eventually getting married, and we went through a courtship scenario. I knew my ex-husband about a year of time. I'd met him, I think, 8 times, spent about 2 months of in-person time together, okay? And then we got married. And I was really used to having a man judge me and tell me how to dress. Like, my dad would literally pull out catalogs and say, this is what you're gonna wear, okay? And then I married this guy, and he had a completely different idea how I should dress and how I should be. You'll see in the picture over to this side, I dyed my hair brown the month after I married him. I'd never been a brunette before. And I did that because that's what he wanted. That was my job, to make him happy, okay? So it was really easy for me to just constantly be whatever anybody else wanted me to be, because I thought that was my job. I thought that's how I was going to be a good Christian wife, a good daughter, all the things. And my God, I was going to be the best that you could be, because I'm like that. So fast forward, we went to, I was with my ex for 8 years, and yes, my practice husband. Thank you. Yes, it was my practice husband, and I came into my own, and I realized I did not want to be living that way anymore. It was actually a rather tragic way that this came to me, but my brother, when he was 21, committed suicide. And at that point, I realized I did not want to ever be in that place. So I changed the way I was looking at life. Instead of living for other people, I wanted to live for myself. I wanted to be happy. So I got a divorce, was on 2 years on my own. Now I'm with my wonderful husband, Casey. And by the way, I had 4 kids with my first husband, and now I've had 3 more. So I was the oldest of 7 kids, and now I'm the mother of 7 kids. And we're done. We're good. We're all set. But that has been my journey of not only like self-expression, of style, there's so much in that amount of time that I learned and grew from. So now as I stand before you today, I can say, like, there's so much that doesn't matter. There's just so much that you think matters when you're young, and you put that as a priority, and you think, I need to look like everyone else wants me to look. I need to act like everyone else wants me to act. And it is not true. And actually, it's the way to really cause yourself a lot of problems and to be a very sad person. So we're going to move on to first impressions are made in seconds. You love my Mr. Bean picture here? Okay, so when we're talking today specifically about headshots and business, because that's who we are here. When we are going into the world, we make these first impressions very, very quickly. Now, there's a lot of studies that have been done about first impressions. Some of them say that we make conclusions about people in 1/10 of a second. Okay, others say it's up to 7 minutes. It doesn't really matter how much time, we just know what's happening really super fast. And one of the first things that we look at when we see a picture is we are judging, is this person attractive? That's the first marker. The second marker is, are they trustworthy? Okay? So when you employ someone to take your pictures for you, this is what you need to be thinking about. Yes, attractive, but trustworthy is the big one for business. Actually, the word would be competence for business. So when we are looking at, first of all, I just want to show you, this is how he looks normally, okay? Okay, so when we are showing up in the world, what we don't want is to look like Mr. Bean. We want to look like how he usually is. And it's funny how we can put ourselves out there in such a way as to give someone a completely different impression of ourselves. So the goal is always to be yourself. But how stressful that sounds, right? That sounds really stressful. Like, at least to me, coming from the background that I did, I thought being myself was like what everybody else wanted me to be. I mean, okay. So how do we know we're being authentic? So one of the tools I gave you all is it's called energy typing. And this lady, Carol Tuttle, she has made an entire career out of teaching people about how to dress based on energy type. I'm going to run through a little bit of information about this today just to give you a taster. But if it's interesting to you, look up the website. It's free. You can go through it, or you can employ me to help you. So as I said before, you have to believe that you have to believe what you say, and you have to actually have confidence in yourself as you're showing up into the world to be an authentic person. The reason why a tool like this is super helpful is because it gives you a framework so that you can understand what you're expressing. And if you understand what you're expressing in your clothes, then you can start going, oh, I didn't realize I was expressing that. I don't think I want to express that. And then you have power. You take your power back. Okay, so there's 4 types. Type 1 is the fun type. It's also represented by air. The color, by the way, you can wear any color you want. The reason why this is helpful is that it's all about shade and tone. Purple can be 4 different, there's like 4 different purples. There's more than 4 different purples, but specifically, there's 4 different shades of purple, and there are certain ones that are gonna look better on you and on somebody else. So the fun type is usually someone who grew up being like the bouncy kid, like they attracted a lot of attention just having a good old time, and it translates to color. Type 2 is the sensitive type. They're very subtle, the soft, subtle, detailed type, as it says here. Basically, it's color that has a little bit of gray behind it. Type 1, it's more like you can see sun through it, you can see light through it. It's like there's a little bit of gray in everything. And the person that is like this is typically the one that cuts all the tags out of their clothing. They like to wear really, really, really comfortable clothing, that kind of thing. Okay, type 3. Rich, driven, dynamic. And don't you love, I have guys here instead of women? Because this is appropriate for men. Men need to know these things too. It's very helpful. Jewel tones, for people that are kind of like that rough and tumble kind of person, they tend to do really super well in jewel tones. They tend to wear they're the guys that look so good in a rugged pair of jeans with rips in them. And you're sitting there going, why does that look good on him? Well, it's because that's his energetic type. Okay, and the type 4 is the analytical type. They do really well in high contrast colors. So they're very bold, striking colors. This is the sort of person that when they were a child, someone would say, wow, you are like an old soul. It's like you have so much wisdom at such a young age. Yes, that is the type. Also, this is what most fashion houses base all of their clothing off of, which is really annoying. So when you go to a store and you try something on that looks good on a picture or on another person that looks gorgeous and you're like a model, the reason it doesn't look like you is because of you're not that person. All right, body language tips. I'm gonna zoom through this because we got 5 minutes. I'm gonna use him as an example. So first of all, I just talked about the colors. Confidence is your best color. The reason why the colors help you is because they help you be confident. So once you figure these things out, it just helps you in your confidence. Direct and open expression. When you get your headshots, face the camera. Like you can be a little bit this way, but face the camera. Don't put sunglasses on. Don't do things to obstruct your view. It's really important. And then bigger is better. Be confident. The hands, I showed this one because of Sean's hands here. He's steepling. Steepling immediately shows people that you're in control. And what we want to see in a headshot for business is we want to see competence. So when I posed Sean, I wanted him to be seen that way. And the last point is smile. Interestingly enough, studies have shown that women need to smile with teeth. It helps them seem open and warm. Men actually can get away with a nice soft smile that doesn't show teeth. And I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist, it's just the way people view people. All right, and then to sum this up, I wanna make sure I'm pointing this out. The point of this is not to get everyone to like you. You do not want everyone to like you. In fact, that's going to cause a problem because you want people to run screaming if you are not the person for them. It's going to make your life a lot less troublesome to have clients who always want to work with you. You want the people who love you and who rave about you and are not going to go post on Google about how annoying you are. Okay? So these are tools to be used for good in that way. Vanessa Van, what's her name? Now I can't remember her name. Vanessa Van Edwards. Look up Vanessa Van Edwards. She has a website called The Science of People, and it is extremely helpful covering all of these topics. All right, be brave, be you, be valued. Okay, that's the goal. All of this knowledge, trying to make good impressions, trying to network well, it's all about being yourself so that people can clearly understand who you are from the get-go and know how to interact with you. That's the goal. So if you can take a little bit of this forward, I would say look at how you're doing your photos. If you're making yourself seem competent in your photos, if you're making yourself seem friendly and open, that is going to be a win for you every single time. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And if you have any questions about any of these things, I'd love to work with you. I coach people on this every day, and I love taking people's pictures. So I really appreciate you all. You have a good night.